Welcome, everybody. This is Coffee with a Founder, not a journalist, because I have another podcast and I've done hundreds of episodes over there, but we're doing Coffee with a Founder here, where we chat with venture-backed founders about why they're doing this crazy, insane game of building startups from an idea and getting money to help do it, hopefully, knock on wood, and make a lot of money in return. And what's kind of going on in the heads of founders. And I've personally worked with thousands and thousands at this time. I have some little terms I use, such as founderitis and whatnot, but we're going to get into that. I am Beck Bamberger. I'm so happy to be joined today by Filip Kozera, who is the founder and CEO of Wordware. And we're going to talk all about it. Filip, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. Now you're based in San Francisco, of course, but you're not. Tell me, I know a little bit of your story because we've met and talked a handful of times. Why did you decide to come to San Francisco? I'm going to do it here, all the things.
I think right now in AI, San Francisco is the place to be. And I would say that the next place would probably be London. And when I was chatting with my co-founder, he was like, dude, why San Francisco? The first time you were there, you were living in Tenderloin. You had a terrible experience. And I was like, dude, unfortunately, that's where it's happening. And I think it goes San Francisco, and then London is second, but there's such a big gap.
Far second.
Yeah, it's a very far second.
Yes. So you decided, yeah, we're going back to San Francisco.
I think so. And you know what? Here, there's a particular approach to doing business, which everyone somehow understands that this is not a zero-sum game. And everyone wants to help each other. And this is a magical and very unique place in the world.
Oh, I like that sell for San Francisco. How would you describe it? Because obviously you're not from San Francisco. You're not U.S. based. You came over here. So how would you describe it?
I think just people understand that 1 + 1 can equal 4, 6, 8, or even 24,
Mm-hmm.
And we don't, in Poland, for example, we don't really have that. There is scarcity of resources and also a cultural approach to that concept, which means, if I raise 10 million, there's 10 million less for somebody else in the ecosystem. So we just got to be watchful. And there's also this approach of whenever you meet somebody, people see whether you are kind of the big fish or they are the bigger fish, and base their responses based on that kind of power dynamic. That's completely not present in San Francisco, and you could be talking to a billionaire and you won't know it.
That is one of the most fun aspects. I would agree. Wealth is not showcased in a way like other places in the world, and in fact, it's poor form, I would say, if you are showcasing that. So
yeah, I mean, riding in a Ferrari here, very lame.
Oh, very, very, very. And I would say even driving a Tesla right now, questionable. So, Filip, what are we doing with Wordware? What is this about?
So Wordware is essentially the ultimate place for building AI agents. Also the first that uses natural language as the main abstraction. In a document-based interface. So essentially, if you can describe the AI agent or the system you're trying to build on a simple piece of document, we made it come alive. And that agent will be performing actions both one-off when you want it to by just clicking run, but we also connect to 2000 triggers and actions, which means it can be doing work behind the scenes for you.
Is this Vibe agency?
I think it allows you to just put your thoughts on a piece of paper and help you a little bit with refining this and actually make it come alive. And I think a document-first system is much better than chat-based system. And a lot of people ask, Filip, what's wrong with chat? And I think there's a couple of points where I can go into it a little bit. What is the problem with the current approaches? Would you like me to do so?
Yes, please.
So there's 8 quick things that are wrong. So I'll try to run through them extremely quickly. So context pollution, it essentially means that like if you made some error at the beginning of the conversation, it just degrades everything that follows. Then there's lack of structured iteration. If you kind of like made the prompt a little wrong at the beginning, you just kind of end up like the whole conversation is about making it better rather than editing the first thing that came. Also, no forced clarity. Humans need to be somehow forced to think more structurally about the system that they are trying to describe, and documents are the UX of human beings to do that. Then there's like poor version control. It's hard to track changes and iterate on prompts in a conversational interface. You cannot reuse the things that you've done well in like future conversations. Models also get super lazy. It means that like with progressing in the conversation, they start producing less and less tokens because they're just like lazy, to be honest. And then there's no organization, so they don't support logical grouping or nesting of concepts, and it's just like one-off. And then the last thing is it's only a single abstraction layer, so you basically don't have an ability to like kind of zoom out of a conversation and be able to see what the hell are you trying to do here, and maybe some parts should be just like described very, very vaguely, you know, being like, hey, first of all, research information about BAM agency, and that should do its own job. But then when I'm preparing for this particular podcast, I should go into like really refined detail, and you don't really have control over the kind of how general is the response or how much you actually need to it. That was a quick 8. Sorry for
good. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good because succinctness is sometimes a founder's worst problem. So you did that very well. Thank you. Okay, so you're back in San Francisco now. Let's. What is different this time in San Francisco? Now you already gave it the big magical plug, but compared to your last time there.
I think, when I first came to San Francisco, I was a fresh grad out of Cambridge with big dreams. I was actually a researcher at Cambridge into LSTMs, which are precursors of transformers architecture. Came here. I did not know that Tenderloin is by far the worst district in San Francisco. I lived there. I honestly have $3,000 to my name.
Yeah.
And starting with my first company, I was blown away how the ecosystem accepted me, gave me capital to pursue a very big visionary idea of trying to augment human memory with always-on listening devices based on GPT-2.
Yeah.
But I must say, I did not enjoy San Francisco. San Francisco is a city where I think if you're VC funded as a founder, like I completely go against this idea of like make your life super difficult, live in a dump, like don't buy a couch, just a desk and a chair. I need to have a nice life.
Yeah.
I need to balance it, I now have a much nicer house. I go run on the beach every day. I live in the north of San Francisco, which is not typical.
That's very different. Yeah.
And like I live by the sea. And I think that change made me love San Francisco. The nature here is beautiful. There are some things which I really don't like, but some things which I really love. I go kite surfing like every week.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me this, because I have like irksome things with San Francisco in my thing, and there's just many things I try to hold together. But thank you. It is absolutely stunning. It is the California wonderland of nature and all these great things. And yes, I would give a huge +1 to the people, the vibes of everybody there. Everyone's a builder, everyone's in tech. Yes, that could be very.
That's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I said, yep. It's very one note. Okay, very different from, let's say, New York City, which is my other place. But the point is, everyone's in it. Everyone's in it, so they get it. So that's on the positive side. My thought. Anyway.
Yeah, I sometimes miss a little bit of diversity in like who I'm talking to. But you know what? It ends up being productive, unfortunately, which means like you meet somebody over beers. And bam, it turns out also they have an AI startup and you start chatting about something.
Exactly.
And even if you don't talk about work, 4 months down the line, you just like, they see a post on LinkedIn about you, I don't know, starting with a new product line. And they're like, I should totally introduce you to this VC I know from XYZ. And it becomes less like, all like networking. It's just people,
Yeah,
and
you're
they
just
then
connecting.
end up being relevant.
Yes, yes. That's a great way to putting it. Like it's relevant. So let me connect you. Let me do all these things. Okay. Now in your second time in San Francisco, and now you're building this company, Wordware. How are you thinking of success?
With Wordware, this is my second company, as
Yeah.
mentioned, and I don't really have a clear exit plan. I think success is making sure that the journey we're all on, especially like with team members of Wordware, is one that we enjoy. It's working on a hard problem in a space that we all find extremely interesting, with a strong mission, and working with friends. So it's actually pretty simple. Our mission is to bring structure and joy to human AI collaboration, and that's a big vision. It means that we really believe that no matter what happens to the underlying models, the intent and taste of human beings will matter for the foreseeable. And the next one is, it's when you design a startup, you not only design the product, but you almost design like the lifestyle of all the team members. And it's my job to make sure that we do it in a play that in a way that like people just enjoy their life. We just got a new office, and this was like a very conscious decision for it to be next to the beach. And we go climbing together, we go swimming together, we sauna together, we'll have
Oh
a kite
my
surfing
gosh,
rack
this
in
is
the
yes.
office.
Yeah.
So
Oh God. Oh my gosh. Philippe, you are refreshing in the sense of a founder trope that I don't see too often, which is like, wait a second, wait a second. Yeah, I'm going to work my ass off completely, but also I'm going to live life. I'm going to live life well with people I like, and we are going to be outside and active and not and connecting and da 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 da.
I think, first time founders often approach it as like, hey, it's got to be 3 years and then I'll be a multimillionaire and I'll be able to do anything you want. I think after my first company, I went through 7 months of sailing, mountaineering, and so on. And like, there's just like that itch to be scratched, that you just want to be creating things with very
Mhm.
intelligent people. And it's very addictive to be able to do so and put out the product for other people, see how they are interacting
Mhm.
with it. It gives you an agency to actually bring change to people's lives, and it's addictive. So long term, you just like realize, hey, like I remember that like in my first company, I had this thing where I like often message people from my personal email address, because I was like, oh, if I get done with this company, then I still want to have these contacts. It's like a completely wrong approach, And right now I'm
Yeah.
planning for, I will probably be working on this problem for next 15 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, as long as you're enjoying it. Okay, you're hitting on something that I was just chatting with someone else about, which I call founderitis, which is this, just what you described. You did one company, okay, you exited it. Okay, maybe it's life-changing money, maybe it's just good money. Okay, great. And now you're like, okay, I got to do it again. I got to do it again because it's so fun to do it again. What do you think it is? You were talking just right now on like it's that itch. It's an itch. I got to create something. I am a creator for the world. What is it for you?
Um, this is a very deep question,
It
because I
is.
have
It's what we're
no
here to
clue
do.
why are we jumping into this masochistic way of,
Exactly.
looking into the
Yes.
abyss and chewing on dirt, or it's on gravel. I think that's the expression. But I think in the end of the day, we're all messed up a little bit, and we
Yeah,
love the chase.
100%.
And we love the chase, we love the ambition, and without the chase, we don't really know who we are a little bit. And it's the scary truth about founders. I think it's I think everyone needs to be working on this, but I think, and people do, and they end up being um, you know capable of segmenting that chase and using it for their benefit, but also being able to like de-stress and detach themselves a little bit from the result of that chase. I think
Mm,
I'm still on that journey. I think just being calm and kind of composed when things are going wrong. I definitely assign part of my like identity to the company I'm working on, And
Many founders do.
it's not
That could
that
be a
great,
little,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. You have awareness though. At least you have awareness. I mean, some wake up, lose the company, sell the company, whatever, and they're having the spiral, which is, oh my God, they got divorced. Oh my God, they went off the rails, right? I could give you 5 examples I'm thinking right now, like, because they don't confront that, yeah, my identity is tied to this thing, or it is tied to this thing, and it's so deeply tied. We're all tied to the things we make. Like, let's just admit that. But do you have awareness about it? And 2, can you have that healthy balance and not be consumed by it? So at least you have awareness. I'm
I
hearing.
have awareness. I'm looking for balance.
Yes. Yes.
But I think that's the short answer. It's like you are basically, for your whole life, for my whole life, since I was 21, I was running companies. This is the one thing I really, really enjoy. I enjoy the kind of ability to interact and influence absolutely everything in a company. I'm a very questioning challenge, like my Enneagram or whatever it's called. Like it's
Enneagram.
I'm a challenger, which
Oh,
means that, like, if I would go to work for somebody, I think I would be annoying.
oh, you no. You are unhirable as a founder. I'm sorry, I'm in that class too. I cannot. No, we are disasters. Why? Because it's like, oh my God, I want to do this, this, and this. What do you mean I can't do that? What do you mean we can't do that? Like, it's dreadful. This is why you see some exit out of their acquiring company, because they could not stand the living daylights out of the constraints.
Yeah, I think, there is value in, like, being able to focus on something, and we work with a lot of founders who at Wordware hopefully are given that ownership that maybe at some other companies they would not be given. And, like, I see a lot of founders, ex-founders, who come into Wordware and they just don't want the whole uncertainty. They want their uncertainty and chaos to be, like, segmented to a part that they really enjoy doing in their first company. I also have to deal with, like, legal bullshit, for example. I don't enjoy that. I just have to do it. If somebody would tell me, hey, Philip, now you get to deal with the chaos and uncertainty only of the product, I'll be like, oh, that's nice. That sounds good.
I know. You're getting to what NVIDIA's CEO has famously said of, like, pain and suffering. Like, it's all pain and suffering. Is it pain and suffering you enjoy? You're going to get it in heaps. So is it the kind that you like? So you would love to be in the pain and suffering of product because you're the nerd. You want to break it and everything. You don't want to be in the pain and suffering of legal contracts, for example, which, by the way, a lot of AI can solve now. Sorry to say that, lawyers, but I'd be very scared as a lawyer right now. Anyway, my hot take on that. Philippe, what else? What else are you thinking about as a founder these days? Like these days right now, 2025?
I think right now something that's difficult for every startup in AI is that the ground beneath you is moving, shaking, and being shattered by earthquakes,
Yes.
and making sure that you don't freak out in this uncertain environment is something that, like, comes a little bit easier to me, having worked in this industry for 10 years now. Many people don't have that kind of luxury of just kind of having a perspective on the last 10 years of AI development. So I freak out a little bit less, but still, like, we make very risky decisions. Like, even very recently, we basically pivoted our go-to-market strategy, where it was going really well in the other part, but it was just not going quick enough. And we were an infrastructure tool for anyone to build AI agents as features or as full-fledged products. So instead of going to code, you can create these AI agents in our IDE. Now we are using the same product, but we are trying to own the end customer relationship, because what we've noticed is that a lot of the startups, which are great customers, we serve them really well and they were successful with our product, end up not finding product market fit. And this is a standard problem for a bunch of infrastructure products, but it just seems everything is so much quicker nowadays that, like, I decided we don't have that time to index over thousands of startups and hope some of them are going to go great. And like, that was a tough decision. And when I look at the future of this company, I think we'll have a couple more of extremely risky decisions. And, like, can we afford to get, like, 2 of them wrong? I don't know. Maybe we can't afford to get any of them wrong. So it is inherently stressful environment because stress comes from things that you don't have influence over. And I would say that's a struggle for most AI companies, but it's also very exciting. We get to redevelop how knowledge work is done, and we are at the front and center of it. It basically will change the world, and let's make sure it changes it for the better.
Yes, I would summarize this as the speed at which the change is happening. First of all, you better be good with change. But secondly, in this era, it's a 10x and you are literally in the earthquake all the time. And like, can you stomach that? I think that's the new level that all founders are in place of now is the pace of change is exceptional. I'm curious to see how, if at all, enterprises will adopt or get some kind of minutia around it, like how it trickles down or trickles up, whatever way you want to say, to other industries is too. You're in the highest velocity of it. I'm wondering, like, it's a less of a swirl, let's say, at enterprise level, but yet to see.
I think there's arguments that can be made for both bottom up and top to bottom.
Yeah.
Bottom up has been the default way that things have happened in the era of verticals, SaaS, or even like horizontal tools. A couple teams adopted Slack or Notion, and it just keeps on working, and then it expands into the whole organization. But I think there's also some parallels between, for example, the advent of a computer, of a personal computer, and it being introduced to enterprises. It wasn't so that some people used a personal computer and they just like carried it to work now and then.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
It was a top to bottom decision about setting up mainframes and investing in that. And I see both currently. There are tools which are being used by bottom up. A great tool like this is, for example, Descript, which allows you to edit videos by editing text. And like, it's funny because most of the subscriptions that they have is just, one of people in the organization. And so that's the bottom up and to kind of land and expand. And then on the other hand, you've got, for example, companies like Glean, or actually Wordware is also getting like sometimes adopted because the CEO likes it. The CEO is just like, hey, everyone, I'm going to train you all in using this. Everyone is using this.
Everyone's using it. Yes.
And I think there is more experimentation on very high level. It's almost like we finally gave a tool for like the top level executives to try to build something. They are like, prototype a spec. I'm going to build it, see how it works, iterate on it, and then bam, like that prototype can become something that's in production. I think Wordware has done that very well to just kind of give that power to leadership.
What a time to be alive. Filip, what a time. Okay. We already talked about like kind of what became clear, the things you kind of did. I like to end with this. How are you uniquely lucky?
I think in startups, like I'm uniquely lucky in life in so many different ways, but I think that might not be extremely useful for the listener. But I think in startups, the uniquely lucky part is that most startups die because of co-founder disagreement. And part of like my part of like I've just heard so many stories and had experiences in the past about this. My unique luck here is that I've known my co-founder for 11 years. And we were friends. We ran projects at university. We had a drone society, and we are not similar at all. And we complement each other in so many different ways.
Exactly.
That it's. I just think we're uniquely lucky, and sometimes it brews conflict. Like I'm always like, let's fucking push. And then he's like, dude, like we need to finish the first thing. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm already bored with the first one. You haven't done it yet? And he actually provides the stable part of Wordware where I'm like, woohoo, let's go for a crazy ride.
Yes. Oh my God. I relate to this. Yes.
I think you're the
Yes.
same. You're like,
Oh.
you want to go
Oh.
hard, but like I need rest, for example, after. And I need to like, and I'll be like, get myself close to burnout. And then I just need a couple, like even a week sometimes, or just slower. And, I'm like, I'm not so good at managing myself. So then he provides the steadiness,
Sounds like you found quite the match. And I'm sure VCs like that. They like to hear that you've known a person 10 plus years. Hey,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
So I think that's something like we recently raised a seed round straight out of YC, which was $30 million. And I think a big part of it was that we kind of, the YC advice is to always have just CEO pitching. We always did every pitch together. And it provided and we never had a deck even. So the whole thing was to manage the room in the right manner and show how we like complement each other in particular skills and have that be perfected. And at the beginning, it just came naturally, but with time, we really did work. We created the narratives, we created a story, which not only kind of showcased our relationship, but it also showcased us as a company and what we created.
Filip, we're going to end it right there. Look at you. Look at you, sir. Thank you for being on our Coffee with Founder, even though we did not drink coffee, but it was a good time.
I had tea. I don't
you
know
had
if that
tea
was
and I got
allowed.
a smoothie. I'm going to see you kite surfing in the sea out there in San Francisco, building your AI on a kite park.
Yeah, I think the whole team. Thank you so much for
the whole
me.
team. Yes, the whole team. I like that. This is very much my vibes. I want to build stuff with people for literally decades, so we're on the same page. Everybody, this is Filip Kozera. He's a founder and CEO of Wordware. Thank you, Filip. You're the best.
Thank you so much. Thank
See
you.
you.
It was a pleasure to be here.